You know, they are surviving this. They are using a lot of interesting cooldowns and ultimates to hopefully survive this Emma also. It is, you know, it's probably a good way to bait out some cooldowns. And right there, that kick sends Super Gomez off the map. And then another kick onto the enemy Emma Frost. What a play by Haluk, the #1 Emma Frost player right now. He's showcasing why he has that rank 1 for himself. This is the power of a good tank player, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Haluk making his way inside, and he's isolated that Magneto. 3 kills for Haluk, 4 kills for Haluk. Oh my god, Haluk, you are crazy on this Emma Frost, my guy. This is the rank 1 player of Marvel Rivals Season 2.0 so far. Celestial 2 is rank 1. Haluk takes the lead on the leaderboard, and he is an Emma Frost main. So Emma Grace Frost is our newest tank, and I think Haluk would probably be one of the best players to watch in order to learn how to properly play and maximize the potential of Emma Frost. Is she a tank that wants to mostly take poke battles? Does she really like to brawl close range? There's so many things to dig into, so let's not waste any time and get straight into one of the games from Haluk himself. So we are here on Central Park. We're going to be starting off on the attacking side. Let's have a quick look at the compositions. Going to pause the replay viewer right now. Let's have a quick look at the compositions. On top right, the attacking team is running the combo of Luna Snow plus Rocket Raccoon. The opposing side is also pretty much running Luna and Rocket. These two are arguably currently the best supports in the game in the tank lineup. On both sides, we have the Magneto plus Emma Frost team up. On the opposing side, however, we are running the Emma plus Hulk combo. Now, Hulk is interesting because Hulk isn't necessarily anchoring or providing the gamma buff to anybody on that team comp, so this is going to be a very interesting choice. However, Hulk is actually pretty good on this map because he has so much mobility, and this map is a very tight choke, so Hulk can take over this map very easily. The DPS choices on both sides defending, we have the Wolverine plus Winter Soldier, and then on the attacking side, we have the Star-Lord and the Psylocke. So we're mostly, these DPS are going to be looking to flank. Our focus is going to be Haluk with the Emma First gameplay, seeing how he's going to try and enable his team to take the space and then take the objective. So already taking good space with this Magneto. A big poke war has broken out. They're trying to break the bridge in order to create a little bit more space and allow themselves more angles. Flankers take to the high grounds, and Emma Frost over here poking out the Hulk, you know, keeping an eye on the Wolverine. Now this is really interesting. This is very interesting. Have a quick look at this. She anticipates Super Gomez. Super Gomez is one of the best players in the world. I believe he is Sentinel's DPS player. He's one of the best DPS players in the world, and he is looking for that kidnap on the Emma Frost. But, you know, Haluk actually foresees this and enters the diamond form, so even if he was to get caught, he wouldn't get CC'd over here, which is a 900 IQ play from Haluk to be very quick. Otherwise, I think Super Gomez, maybe he purposefully misses because he's intentionally trying to bait out this cooldown, but he, Haluk on the other hand is able to make sure that in case the kidnap does happen, he's able to survive this. So very good gameplay from Haluk. Right away uses the E for mobility, getting close to that Wolverine, and he brings him down low but doesn't finish him off. Then Emma Frost enters a big poke war with the Hulk, and Emma in diamond form does very scary damage. Moving in with the rest of her team comp, Emma Frost takes the space, applies the pressure, standard poke tank gameplay loop. Magneto walking in with her DPS are putting in work overtime, and they're able to take a lot of good space, apply that extra poke damage to Rocket, see if she can isolate somebody over here, but chokes out the Winter Soldier, slams him, kicks him into the wall, deletes him, and now begins to move on. So Haluk already off to a fantastic, phenomenal start. He's playing very safely, he's respecting the opponent's cooldowns, he's taking the space he needs to take, and he's making sure his barriers are, declining the line of sight in the different chokes that he wants to hold. So already pushing up really well. Nice little angle control over here with Haluk. I actually really like this positioning. Walking up with his DPS, applying that pressure. He doesn't ever want to experience downtime. Psylocke is applying a lot of pressure with the ultimate in the back, and he just wants to walk in, help, apply that extra pressure. They do a great job. Over there, the Magneto comes in, and the double Magneto really takes out two people over there with that team up he's got with the Emma Frost. Mag and Emma might be one of the best poke tanks to be playing right now, so do not sleep on this duo. They are extremely threatening, and dare I say they look good with those two skins, black and gold, matching side by side. Feels like royalty if you ask me. Moving on over here, the enemy team is kind of split. Haluk is trying to just waste time and poke out the enemy tanks, build up that beam charge. So 40 beam charge, 50 beam charge. He wants that high damage. He is in that close range fight now, entering the diamond form, applying pressure, but it is looking fine for Halleck at the moment, bringing up that barrier and just applying a lot of good poke. It doesn't seem like he's intentionally trying to take more close range fights, but more poke brawls. Now, both sides are beginning to use ultimates, and I assume Halleck is probably prioritizing trying to stay alive. He did use his ultimate, probably trying to steal a kill or two, but the enemy team all line of sighted it or were able to walk into the payload to avoid getting caught. Now, the Luna ult has come out, and the enemy Emma Frost ult has come out, and a great barrier over there to deny the line of sight and allow herself to keep pressuring the enemy Emma Frost. Now, there is a lot of focus on just fighting the other tanks. That's one thing to notice. He's not necessarily playing a very aggressive style, and once he is able to isolate the tanks, he usually goes into diamond form like we're seeing over here. Isolate this Magneto, go for that kick, and walk in. So there's a lot less emphasis on the brawl playstyle for Emma with diamond form, and diamond form's kind of like if I need to secure a kill and do it, he will. But most of the diamond form is coming out when they have isolated that tank. So it does seem like Emma's gameplay loop, like her safest gameplay loop at the highest levels of play, is to just play her as this poke tank. And especially with Doctor Strange kind of falling off a little bit this season, Emma might be taking his place as the next go-to main tank. So Emma, she does play a very main tank style of gameplay, and she's doing very good. Obviously in this case the off tank is going to be her Magneto, and giving Magneto that extra team up along with Silo getting that team up. Emma's probably one of the best tanks in the game right now, if not arguably maybe the best tank during this season. Who knows, we will see. So again, helping her DPS apply that pressure, maintaining that space, not looking to super overextend, always close to her Magneto. That is something to keep an eye on. Almost always close to her Magneto. They've isolated the enemy Emma, and that's when she goes into that diamond form. You can almost notice that she never enters diamond form unless she knows she has someone in her range that she can isolate and kind of go from there. So very interesting to note, the rocket ult comes out for the red team. Halleck is having that damage boost now, and again he's building up that ultimate, and he might actually have a very good mind control from the white queen herself. They are surviving this. They are using a lot of interesting cooldowns and ultimates to hopefully survive this Emma ult. So it is, it's probably a good way to bait out some cooldowns. And right there, that kick sends Super Gomez off the map, and then another kick onto the enemy Emma Frost. What a play by Halleck, the number one Emma Frost player right now. He's showcasing why he has that rank 1 for himself. This is the power of a good tank player, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Halleck making his way inside, and he's isolated that Magneto. 3 kills for Halleck, 4 kills for Halleck. Oh my god, Halleck, you are crazy on this Emma Frost, my guy. What a fantastic Emma Grace Frost performance from Halleck right now. Amazing gameplay. I have to see how he plays on the defense. Do we see a bit of a playstyle shift? Now, as we go into the defense, it's important for us to remember the way Halleck was playing this on attack. Now, moving on over to the defending side, we have to remember the way Halleck played Emma on attack was a lot of the gameplay was solely focused on pretty much just like repositioning the shield and poking and getting the beam charged up, kind of like a Zarya beam charging up right there, right? And then he only goes into the diamond form when he absolutely needs to, and he knows he can isolate an enemy tank. This is the most important thing to note, ladies and gentlemen, is he only goes into diamond form when he knows that I have this one enemy tank is away from the rest of the team comp. I'm going to isolate them and destroy them. Now, in one other case, he was going into the diamond form over there on that ledge to basically throw the people off the map, and he did get those 2 kills. I'll be playing it on your screen right now as a little replay viewer on the Abbott channel over here. And I just have to say, like, this is some insane Emma gameplay. It's a lot more disciplined, a lot more slower paced than I thought it would be. It kind of reminds me of Magneto's playstyle with a little bit of that melee action from, like, the kick that comes in from Iron Fist. Honestly, Emma just feels like a tank version of Magic, and I actually really like that gameplay-wise. So, moving on over, defending begins with Halleck on Emma Frost. Once again, no team comp changes on the defending side, and a small change on the attacking side that we need to acknowledge. They are running the triple, or I guess you could call this the resurrect composition. They are trying to abuse the Adam Warlock res, the Rocket res, on the Mantis, on the what is the Star-Lord. We have the Hawkeye for that very, very strong poke. Hawkeye is a huge sleeper pick right now, and we have the Magneto. So solo tank gameplay, and maybe quote unquote, like, there's basically 4 DPS in this lineup, because technically Mantis and Adam can substitute in as DPS, and they are trying to run in that triple healer comp with that one tank. Magneto is probably the best solo tank in the game by far, and with that, Hawkeye and the Star-Lord, they are going to be looking for those like instant picks from the Hawkeye, applying pressure, and most most likely, Super Gomez is going to be looking to get into the backline. But I'm not going to lie, diving this backline with the Star-Lord against the Rocket and, the Luna is going to be very difficult with the tank line of, the Magneto and the Emma Frost, because these two are very good at peeling for their supports. So moving on, let's start this defense. Here we go, right away, giving the space that they need. They want to play it really safe, apply the poke, and not necessarily take any overextended fights. Nectar on Psylocke finds a pick on Aoi's Hawkeye, which is very, very cool. Isolating Haluk. Haluk isolates the tank once more, and this gameplay loop of him isolating a tank, applying pressure, he doesn't get the kill, he just does some damage and he gets out. He doesn't want to risk dying for his team because he knows that he's the tank. If he dies, they lose the team fight instantly. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to tank, please do not overextend for kills. Remember to play for your life, play safely. Now sadly, March on the Star-Lord on their team does get caught, and he does get the res beacon off from the Rocket Raccoon, and that's completely fine. Emma Frost moving over here, trying to just hold this place, hold the pressure. Barrier comes up, seeing if she can maybe cause a split in the enemy team comp. Nice soul ripped out of the Hawkeye and deleted the Hawkeye with that soul, and that's just amazing gameplay right there. Again, here we go. She's just playing around corners, playing for her life, pulls out the soul. Here we go. Diamond form is online, and she just plays for her life. She doesn't want to take that duel with the Hawkeye. Very disciplined gameplay from Miss Emma Frost over here. Very, very disciplined gameplay. Nice pressure onto the enemy, and there we go. She's just applying so much pressure, helping secure those kills, and now resetting back over onto the point. The music is still going on for some strange reason. I'm so sorry if you have to listen to that. Now Super Gomez goes for a very weird res into the backline, and Haluk does peel for his team, forcing Super Gomez on the Star-Lord to go back to his team comp. Now the attacking team is definitely feeling the pressure. 2 minutes on the clock, and now they need to look for some picks, and the defending team is respecting this Hawkeye pick. They're playing behind corners so much. They're not even trying to waste their shields, which is so respectable. Now, the other side, they do avoid the mind control. They do barely get caught over here, but the Mantis ult and the shift on Adam Warlock comes out, the soul bond, keeping them alive over here. Now, huge push from the attacking side. The Rocket Raccoon ult comes out, and Haluk goes in, and what a choke slam onto the Magneto. They isolate this Magneto, but sadly his team comes back, and Haluk needs to get to safety. Haluk, man, I'm not even sure if Haluk has died this match. I want a quick peek on the stats over here. Haluk is 23-0 on this Emma Frost right now. Phenomenal gameplay showcasing the new character in action. And again, the poke war is not finished just yet. They are doing their best and playing very safe, very cautious. Both teams just trying to look for some early picks. And Super Gomez finally finds the enemy Star-Lord. Moving back, Haluk isolates the Magneto once more, gets that bubble out, does try to overcommit for this kill, but he needs to be a little bit more careful. Another choke slam to isolate the Magneto, and he does get out quickly. Probably did it because he did have the Luna ult, so he wasn't scared of dying. But here we go. Legendary comes out from Super Gomez on the other side, going straight into the air, and Super Gomez taking out 2 people in the back. Oh my god, Haluk is kind of isolated. The attacking team might actually turn this around. Yes, there are 3 picks for the attacking side. I do not understand, Haluk, why would you look for this ultimate? But, okay, apparently the Magneto and the Psylocke are finding the last minute picks. Maybe they can turn this around. Haluk, oh my god, Haluk overextending the We Are Undefeatable coming out from Mantis. Haluk gets out of the team fight over here, regrouping with the team, but finds himself at the receiving end of a piercing arrow from Hawkeye. But the res beacon is up. Haluk immediately comes back, positions the shield in a way where he can safely poke the enemy team. Sadly, it doesn't look like it's their fight just yet. Nectar does find one in the backline. However, the enemy Mantis finds Nectar on Psylocke right away. An isolated kill on Aoi, and with that carry down on DPS, he can just walk in and delete anybody he wants to delete. That's insane. He barely wins this fight. Another res beacon, dude. Haluk is getting so lucky with these res beacons and the timing of them all. Maybe he's actually coordinating this with the Rocket. I don't know that. But Haluk, once again back in the front line, trying to see if he can secure the space. His entire team has returned. What a stall. What a fight on Central Park. This is why I love Marvel Rivals. High elo gameplay. This is some really fun shit. This is some really fun shit. That was a really fun game. That was a really fun game. There was so much to learn from that. Here are the ending stat cards. Haluk showing why he's the #1 tank player right now. Look at that. 18,000 damage on Emma Frost with 30,000 damage, bro. Great accuracy coming in at almost 60%, 26-2. What a fun match. This was so fun to watch. So what are our key takeaways? I'm going to leave the gameplay footage up in the background and talk about some of the key takeaways. So key takeaways, starting off, #1, you want to focus more on the poke playstyle. You want to try and do your best to use your shield to take the space that you need to. try and force out enemies into different corners and different chokes. You don't have to go for kills as long as you bring that extra pressure and then like pull their souls out. It is definitely harder to do. He wasn't really like getting all the soul pullouts early on, but the soul pullouts did come online like on the defensive side. Definitely it's easier to do when you don't have to be moving around that much. Our key takeaway number 2 is he's entering Diamond 4 mostly to isolate the enemy tank. If he feels like he has a position where he can choke slam the enemy tank, boop them into the team with that kick, with that diamond kick or whatever you want to call it, use that diamond kick to push the Magneto back into his team. He was definitely doing that, isolating that enemy tank, and then either he or his team would burst down that tank and they would win the fight. So the Emma Frost playstyle is a lot more safer, and at the highest levels of play you're seeing it that it's playing a lot more safer. It seems to be 85% to 90% poke with very 10%, very small slithers of that brawl playstyle. But it just comes down to if the Emma Frost player feels that they have an enemy tank that they can isolate, they will enter that chokeslam mode, grab them by the neck, toss them into your team's backline. It's kind of like I said, it's kind of like this weird mixture of like Thor and Magic gameplay, kind of like a really well balanced like jack of all trades style of gameplay, poke and brawl coming in together and then tossing them into the back. And she was also really good at peeling against that Star-Lord for her supports when she needed to. So lots of takeaways, interesting takeaways from this gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. That is the rank 1 player and the rank 1 Emma Frost player at the moment. Celestial 2, Halleck, great display of the new character, my friend. Thank you so much for helping us with this video, getting out a guide on perhaps how to play Emma Frost the best way that you possibly can at the moment. Anyways, everybody, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoy this type of content, more educational Marvel Rivals content and exciting content on this channel on your way. Abby MR. Take a guess what that MR stands for. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.